With Unit 4, Lesson 3, what is a food chain? Soak up the sun. Why did I say sun? Let's see, because it's a big deal. The sun is the biggest deal in food chain. Every food chain starts with the sun. All energy comes from the sun. So all energy on Earth comes from here, from the sun. Plants are classified as producers because they make their own food. They produce their own food. Their mommies or the other animals do not give them the food and feed them the spoon. No, the plants themselves make their own food. That's why they're called producers. Plants use a process called photosynthesis. They use the sunlight to make or build up their food. This process is called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis happens in leaves. So the kitchen where the food is being cooked in the plant is the leaves. So that's why I call the leaves the kitchen of the plant. Photosynthesis makes oxygen. And who needs oxygen? I need oxygen, you need oxygen, all the other living things on Earth need oxygen. So that's why plants are extremely important, because they make the oxygen we breathe. Most living things need oxygen to live. So this is the leaf. The leaf takes in the sunlight, takes in the carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is a gas that's found in the air with the oxygen. When we take in the oxygen, when we inhale the oxygen, we exhale the carbon dioxide. The gas that's going out is the carbon dioxide. Who takes this gas going out? The leaves. And they take the water that we give. We water it, or from the rain, or whatever. And when the plant or the leaves take all of these in, they give out oxygen that we breathe, and they give glucose, or they store glucose in their bodies. Glucose is a kind of sugar, is a sugary material. That's why fruits of the plant and the fruit sap, it's like a milky material, milky liquid in the plant. It tastes sweet because leaves make glucose or sugar. During photosynthesis, plants use energy from the sun to change water and carbon dioxide into sugars. So the leaves use the sunlight to change the carbon dioxide and water into sugar. Plants use most of the sugars to grow and change. So the sugar in it, the plant uses it to grow and change. Some of the sugars are stored in the plant. So here's the plant. These are the leaves. They're opening their hands to the sun and to the air to go in, and it takes the water and the nutrients. So as if this is a road, and there's a car taking the water and the nutrients to the leaf, and a car taking the sunlight and the air to the leaf to make oxygen and release it out. Nature's dinner time. So until now we know that the plants are producers. They make their food their own. A consumer is a living thing that eats other living things. So they do not make their food their own. They consume or eat other living things. All animals are consumers. Animals get their energy by eating plants, by eating producers, or other animals. Animals use the energy from food to live and grow. We cannot live and grow without food. As you can see here, this mouse is eating the plant, so this is a consumer, and this is the producer. Rabbit is eating the grass or the plant, so the rabbit is the consumer, and the tree is the producer. Goat, the same thing, eats the producer. The jackal eats the ghost. So this is consumer 1, consumer 3, consumer 4, 2 and 3 and 4, and etc. This rabbit, let's look at this rabbit. Animals that eat only plants are herbivores or herbivores. A rabbit is a herbivore. Some kinds of rabbits don't eat only plant. They can eat insects. But most rabbits, the rabbits that we can raise in our houses, eat herbs. So that's why they're called herbivores. So consumers or living things that eat herbs or plants are called herbivores. A koala is also an herbivore because it eats plants. Also, the surprise is that some dinosaurs were also vegetarian or herbivores. They only ate vegetables. Animals that eat only other animals are carnivores. Animals that eat only meat are called carnivores. A wolf is an example of a carnivore because wolves eat only other animals. They do not eat plants. They eat other animals. Examples of carnivores: lion, cheetah, jaguar, lynx, wild dog, mink, a dolphin. Dolphin only eats fish. So the dolphin is a carnivore consumer. Wolverine, Komodo dragon, dhole, snake, alligators, etc. All of these animals eat only meat or other animals. That's why they're called carnivores. Now I have a question for you. What are we considered? We eat both herbs or plants and vegetables and fruits, and we also eat meat like beef, like fish, like chicken, like turkey, etc. So what are we considered? Let's see in the next slide. Animals or living things or consumers that eat both plants and animals are called omnivores. So we people are omnivores. Raccoons are omnivores as well. Pig is omnivore because they eat vegetables. Pigs eat almost anything you give. Anything you give to the pig, the pig will eat it. So whether plants or other animals, they will eat. They will eat chicken or whatever. People are omnivore. You can see this burger has vegetables, so plants, and meat. So we're both carnivore and herbivore, so we are omnivores. Bears are omnivore because they eat both, and so are raccoons. There are also living things that get energy from once living things. So these living things, they're not consumers because they do not eat other living things. They are not producers. They do not make their food their own. They feed on dead animals or dead plants. So they feed on they were once living things, but now they are dead. Let's see some examples. Or an organism or a living thing that breaks down dead organisms or dead living things for food is called a decomposer. Decomposer came from the word compose. Decompose is to break down. Decomposer is the living thing that breaks down dead parts. Earthworms, bacteria, and mushrooms are all examples of decomposers. Yes, the mushroom you put in your pizza or your burger, this is a decomposer because it lived on once living things, on dead animals or dead plants or whatever. So this is an earthworm. This is bacteria. Bacteria are living things that you cannot see with your own eye. You have to see them in microscope. And mushrooms are also decomposers. Now let's go to food chain. Why did I say producer? Why did I say consumer? Why did I say decomposer? Because actually all of these living things interact. We said that living things interact with each other in an ecosystem. All of these together, they make food chains. They are related to each other. Energy moves between living things in an ecosystem. The energy goes from this living thing to this living thing in an ecosystem. The energy stored in food is passed from plants to animals in a food chain, just like the chain I'm wearing here. These living things are connected to each other like chains. The energy flows from this living to this living thing. Food chains begin with the sun. That's why we said the sun is the biggest deal in the food chain. All the energy comes from the sun because the plants make their food from the sun and the animals eat the plant, and etc. Plants, as producers, use the sun's energy to make food. Consumers come next in the food chain. Food chains are found everywhere on Earth. Anywhere you go, in any community, in any ecosystem, you will find a food chain. In the kitchen, you will find a food chain. When you are eating your salad or your egg and lettuce, you are making a food chain because these lettuce took the sunlight, make their own food because they're producers, okay? And I came and ate this lettuce. This is a food chain. The sun is the first chain. The energy flows this way. You can see the arrow. The energy in the sun is going to the producer, which is the plant. Then the energy is moving this way. The energy is going to the consumer one, to the eater one, to the grasshopper. Then the energy in the grasshopper is going to the consumer, to the frog. So the energy started all the way from here to the frog. This is one example of food chains. So the energy floats this way. The arrows mean that the energy is going from this to this to this to this. What's the only chain that's not a living thing in this ecosystem? It's the sun. The sun is a non-living thing. So all the energy came from this non-living thing here, which is the sun, then went to the producer, consumer, and etc. In a food chain, many animals eat other animals. An animal that hunts other animals for food is called a predator. This is what we said last time. So a hunter is a predator, and the rabbit here is the prey. The lion is the predator. The deer is the prey. An animal that's hunted for food is called prey. A shark hunts and eats fish for food. The shark is a predator and the fish is a prey. The predator and the prey together, they make a food chain. Animals in the food chain can be both predators and prey. So the same animal could be one time a predator eating others, and sometime itself could be a prey. Let's take an example. Prey for one animal might be a predator for another animal. Snakes are predators of mice. So snakes are predators of mice. They eat mice. But snakes are also prey of birds, like the roadrunner. So the snake eats the mouse. So the snake is the predator. The mouse is the prey. But this bird roadrunner eats the snake. So the snake now became a prey, and the roadrunner is the predator. If I'm going to put an arrow for the energy, how's the energy going? Where is the energy flowing? Let's make a food chain. The energy from the mouse goes to the snake, and the energy from the snake goes to the bird. What's for dinner? Let's see. Farmers grow crops such as corn, wheat, and barley as food for people and livestock. Livestock are also raised as food for people. What is a livestock? Let's see. Farmers must need the needs of the plants in order for the crops to grow. They have to meet the needs. They have to give the plants what they need. Water, nutrients, they have to plant them in a sunny place, in an airy place, so they can grow. They make sure that crops have plenty of air, sunlight, and water. So this is wheat, and this is corn, and this is livestock. It's called livestock because it keeps people alive. Livestock are all the living things that we eat, like ducks, like pigs, like chicken, like cows, etc. So this is for dinner. This is what we eat daily. Sometimes we eat fish, sometimes we eat corn, sometimes we eat bread. What bread is made up of wheat, etc. Let's go to the summary now. Sun is the main source of energy. Do not forget, whenever you want to make a food chain, you have to start with the sun because it's the source of energy. It's the first source of energy. Plants are producers because they make their own food themselves. Animals are consumers. They eat other living things like plants and animals. We, people, are consumers. We don't make our bodies do not make food by itself. We need food from outside. Some animals are herbivore. They only eat herbs or plants. Some animals are carnivore. They only eat meat. Other animals or living things like us, we are omnivore. We eat both meat and plants. Some living things are decomposers. We said mushrooms, earthworms, bacteria. They feed or grow on once living thing or dead living things. Predators can also be prey to other animals. Like the snake that eats the mouse is the predator. When the snake is eaten by the roadrunner, it's going to be prey. There you go. This is the end of our lesson. You can always go back through the previous slides for more ideas and notes.